AzFk QnA. I'm finally caving and just letting you guys ask me questions. Why did she leave me? I think if you look deep inside, you'll know. Will we ever find out what Amoeba is? I mean, like, he's pretty much just Az's son. I feel confident dropping that now. Like, that form is like the larval form of the species. Why the eyeball? I mean, hell, you need to see too, right? You typed that. What really is your body made out of? Is it a solid, liquid, or non-Newtonian substance? I mean, there's a lot of shit in there. Just like a human body, there's a lot of everything. Who in their right mind chooses to call themselves AzFk? I'm not in my right mind. When will the pilot be upgraded to episode 1 of a show, and what is necessary to achieve that? So I'm working on episode 2 with really very little plan of what to do. But I guess, like, if you're asking what it would be necessary for it to get picked up on, like, a streaming service, I don't know, I gotta get some executive's dick hard with a lot of views, so go watch it again. Do you have any experience with lucid dreaming? Yeah, but it went pretty poorly. I realized I was awake in a dream, but then it quickly turned into a nightmare which I had no ability to control. This one is for Amoeba. Amoeba, what do you see as? Like, do you see him as a dad or just someone who feeds you? I asked him and he just said yes, so, I don't know. What kind of music do you listen to? I'm that type of guy that says they listen to all types of music, but, you know, most of it is just cringy. My only question is, why? That's a good question. I need something to do during the day, or bad stuff finds me. Az, don't lie now. Is Amoeba right? Are you and Gray gay? Graves? No, not that. I hear he has 2 dicks, though. AzFk, what's the name of your species? You know, the eyeball people. Is such a name even comprehensible by humans? Ouroboros is the name. Ouribori. Is Amoeba the first amoeba? At 12:49 in the pilot, in the restaurant, you can see what looks to be an amoeba in a jar, dead, and possibly another one's eye to the right of it. What did you do, Az? Okay, so there are other amoebas. Not all of them are mine. That's like saying you find a baby on the street and you blame the first man you find for leaving it there, even if they don't look anything alike. That's not my son in the jar, so it's not my problem. Have you tried explaining capitalism to squirrels before? Are you willing to try? I did try once, and then it just bit me, so it either did not understand or it was angry about the current geopolitical state. What is his opinion on pepper jack cheese and Terraria? Both are alright, I guess. They're both not my favorite, but if it's there, I will. I like Minecraft and Cheddar kind of better, but whatever. What inspired you to create Outsider Trading? The AzFk persona, H.P. Lovecraft's literature, and my own circumstances in life surrounding the geopolitical situation we all find ourselves in. I thought it was funny and weird. What's the story behind AzFk? AzFk persona? It's been with me for a very long time. It's a character that has grown and changed with me a lot, and the character and I am very different from when I started it. It's just kind of been with me for a while. What's my favorite ice cream flavor? I like strawberry. I also like chocolate. I wish they had a flavor that was just chocolate with strawberries in it. If AzFk could trade places with anyone in the universe, who would it be? Whoever is currently getting the most bitches, it would be that one. I don't know who it is, though. And at one point, it was Luigi Mangione, so I don't think we can say that. So, I don't know. Ryan Reynolds before he got married. Will human have a role in the series? Not much in the actual series. There might be a scene where we do like a cameo with an animated lookalike, but yeah, probably not. But there will be other projects that involve the human extensively. Will the soundtrack ever be put out on iTunes or streaming platforms? Maybe, I don't know, I'm a busy guy. How? I don't know, man, I just let shit happen. How long does Az's species live? He's been around for the entirety of human civilization, as seen in the pilot, and doesn't seem to be any older in the modern day. So, from a human perspective, there's really no way of measuring this. From an actual perspective, they're like lobsters, genetically immortal until something kills them. Does AzFk usually make fleshlight? Yes. Favorite historical event/figure? I'm big into Hunter S. Thompson. I like him a lot. What's your type of women? A lot of type. I like long, dark hair. I like a girl who could fuck me up. What inspired your character designs, story layout, and lore? A lot of H.P. Lovecraft, a lot of otherworldly stuff like The Backrooms, Trevor Henderson, Leo Vincible, Eduardo Valdez Evia are pretty big inspirations. I'm a big Hazbin Hotel fan, and also like 90s and 2000s cartoons like SpongeBob, Invader Zim, a lot of Cartoon Network work stuff. So I just wanted to take a lot of those interests and see if I could blend them together in a cohesive show. Would you rather have unlimited bacon, but no more games, or games, unlimited games, but no games? I think you meant bacon for that last thing. If I can't have bacon, I can still have pork belly, so I'm gonna choose unlimited games. Have any asset species ever risen through the ranks to become full citizens in the anomalous society that aren't assets anymore? What happens to their owner if that's the case? And are the service workers cyborgs in the store and restaurants created from traded individuals? If not, how are they created? Wow, those are good questions. The first couple, like the first paragraph, I really can't answer because that is a huge spoiler for a few things that will happen in the series. And the second one, some are created from asset species, some are created kind of like a voluntary but really not so voluntary process with regular species, kind of like Severance. How much exactly is AzFk worth? Totally not asking because Earl paid me to with a bag of burgers and a gallon of Mountain Dew. Dude, I don't even know that. When it runs out, I get more. How much of your head is an eye? Most of it. How to make a famous dish? Your choosing. Okay, so step 1, you get a raw meat. Step 2, you put it in between 2 buns. Step 3, you eat. Step 4, you the hospital. Goth Volt when? You guys can draw that whenever you want. I don't care. How gay can you be for $20? I mean, it's not that much money anymore with inflation. About as gay as I am now. Be honest, how long is it? Again, bio-shifting, so how long do you need it to be? Hey, is that your true form? We all know that you can shapeshift, so you could be an eyeball man by choice, but if it isn't your true form, do you change forms to avoid paparazzi? 1, I'm not that popular. 2, I mean, like, there's no real thing as a true form for me. Usually what I show to the 3D beings is kind of like a finger puppet version. AzFk could just bioshift into a money-making machine onto him and make infinite money for himself as long as he wants. Or does his species consider that illegal? Also, does his species need prison? He could possibly just melt into a puddle and reform somewhere else if they're talented with bioshifting. Or does his species have a special kind of prison that can't be escaped? There are so many questions and so few answers. You could bioshift a counterfeiting machine. However, they do have, just like the human world, counterfeiting measures to make sure people don't just print money. And yeah, that would be very illegal. And also, you know, it's the same way, like, if an adult man was in a prison made by a 4-year-old made out of cardboard, right? Like, the adult man could just kick open the cardboard, but if he's in an actual prison, he can't do that. Volt's prison is basically a cardboard box for me. Like, if I went to jail, it'd be real jail, and like real people with real dicks who want to do real bad things to my ass. What is the punishment for outsider trading? It depends on the severity of the situation, but usually there is prison time and some sort of fine and restructuring of the asset in question. How confident are you that you could smash Dr. Volt? No kidnapping. How much time do I have? A billion years? I don't know. Not confident. So, question. How common is insider trading? Your version, at least. I mean, as common as it would be in the human economy in the stock market. How much stuff can you fit inside you without shapeshifting to get bigger? No using different dimensions either. In the mouth, a lot more than in the butt. What is your favorite color of the alphabet? No. What truly is AzFk? Some sort of Eye of Cthulhu from Terraria with a body of something else? What were his parents, anywho? I'm a bit more curious about this than anything. And his bio-shifting. Would he be able to just pull a TF2 spy and straight up disguise as someone? It should be possible since he could just turn his arm into a flamethrower with no gas or fire. So he should be able to thanks to his law-bending bio-shifting. In order, AzFk is an Ouroboros. No. His parents are not directly referenced in the main timeline. He would be able to pull a TF2 spy and disguise as someone, and yeah, I think that's all the questions. Why'd you give yourself massive Dahonka Balankalus? I wanted to squeeze him. AzFk, if you were in a fight with Ben 10, how would you beat him or Alien X? With my fists. Do you donate other people's organs for money? It wouldn't be donation if it was for money. What's his favorite human food? I would say hamburgers. Is whiskey a food? Would. That's not a question, but thanks. Do you know any other big men in the business besides Graves? If not, Do you think you'll get there one day? I'm not really trying to do big business. I just need the money to fund escapades. Could you cover poppy playtime? Fuck no. What happens when an asset species evolves to the same point as their owner? Do they essentially become slaves? That is a very good question, and because the system is not perfect, a lot of people will manipulate the outcomes of this to their own advantage. Look at Graves and the little green guys, for example, Schlemonites. Those will become a very important species-asset species relationship to describe the intricacies and nuances of those kind of relationships. That part of the show is kind of meant to show how like laws we make around these things are never perfect because there's so much gray area in situations. Have you ever been to a different country? Yeah, I've been to a few. They're okay, I like them. What's the annual spend on eye drops for a fifth dimensional being such as yourself? And is it more or less than what you spend on alcohol? I don't spend much on eye drops, I just blink, so a lot more on alcohol. If you don't know where Amoeba came from, how does your species normally reproduce? I was just messing with Volt. I mean, like, I know where he came from, I just didn't remember it happening. And we normally reproduce asexually, but we can produce sexually if need be. Secondly, is Amoeba really affected by crack of all things? Is Az affected by crack? Could the Foundation use this to contain Az by getting him really high? Cocaine, crack, human drugs affect Ouroboros and 4D species on a much lower capacity. However, they do have their own drugs that affect them on the regular capacity. Will there be more world building in future Outsider Trading episodes? I mean, I hope so, unless I run out of money and then, you know. How do you know you are not an asset species yourself? I don't. Good question. I'm not gonna think about it too hard, or I'll have a panic attack. We see AzFk bioshift a lot. Are there any drawbacks to this ability? I wouldn't call them drawbacks, but it's not endless. You need biomass to bioshift, you need the right ingredients, and again, if you want to do something really big, you're going to need a lot of biomass, so you're going to be weighed down by, essentially, just a lot of meat. You know, I wouldn't call it a drawback, more of everything is a double-edged sword. Can I have a human soul in a mason jar? It would get out. Is Az a piece of Graves, or did he come from a different eye person? I feel like that is a pretty important question people gloss over. Completely different eye person. An eyeball with hair is quite disturbing. Well, you know what? I'm disturbed by your query. Hey, you've been around since the dawn of humanity, so I have to ask, what do you think humanity's greatest invention is? And what do you think humanity's funniest moment was? Greatest invention by far, the lobotomy. I've never heard a human shut up faster. It makes them so quiet and manageable. Funniest human moment? I like when they started putting lead in gasoline and they'd be like, yeah, that's a good idea. Is your head one big eyeball or white skin with one big purple eyeball? It's not skin, but the second thing is closer. Did you teach humans to make meth? No, I'm actually quite impressed. They did that all on their own. They actually invented meth. What would happen if Volt followed you through the way to your world? She'd probably have a panic attack. If you recreated the science lady with bioshifting, would it be real enough for you, or just an advanced form of masturbation? No one can degrade me like the flower lady. AzFk, do you have ascended forms and may possibly grow more powerful with self-actualization? Self-actualization is just achieving what you want. I mean, I guess more powerful in a less depressed sense? And also he asks, will you acquire more asset species like the Saiyans? I mean, like, if I go broke, I'll probably try to get another route to make money. When will you give us spaceships? Never. Work for yourself. Or, I don't know, maybe if I need money. What is your equivalent to a species? Earl E. Graves is an eyeball. You're an eyeball. Is there a correlation, or did you two just decide to be eyeballs? So Ouroboros are tremendously variable in their biology, so they can look like a lot of things. What would happen if Az is caught by Graves messing around with Earth? Bad things. Okay, but theoretically, can you turn your head into a dildo, Az? Theoretically, could I? That's not I have before. It didn't end well. What kind of firearms you got coming from the USA? I'm not gonna say that on the internet, but impressive shit. It's fun to use. Do you personally like cocaine pancakes? Never tried them together, actually. How many felons did he commit? I mean, it depends on what country laws we're talking. I've always wondered if the shorts you make are canon and if they contribute to the story's lore. So for the most part, the shorts, unless they're included in some sort of episode, are not canon. You might get a glimpse at something that will become canon, but I wouldn't take anything in the shorts to be ironclad. Do you have Eldritch AIDS? Eldritch AIDS? No. Not Eldritch AIDS. Just curious, how many organs do you have? That depends on what I'm doing. Be honest here, do you like Dr. Volt? I mean, it's obvious. What would you look like as a human form? Probably like blonde, and a little fat, but also like strong fat, or maybe regular fat, I don't know. How are the crabmen doing in the stock market or whatevs? I'm not very educated, probably better than humans. Can every one of your species bioshift? I mean, like, yes, but it's kind of like lifting weights. Some people are going to be a lot stronger than others. It's also kind of like painting in that some people will be better at certain aspects of it than others. It's like a skill. Everybody can do it. Some people are more talented than others, but with training, anybody can improve. Would you ever be gay, and if yes, who? A lot of these are about me being gay. No, I don't think so. I have never seen somebody who's made me question that. Please tell me that my wife is amazing. Her name is Jess, by the way. Your wife, Jess, is amazing. How do you like humans now compared to when you were first introduced to them as a species? They've evolved quite a bit, and they're pretty different from when I first got involved with them. Fire did a real good number on them, and now they shave their armpits and genitals. I like it. I like it a lot more. Do people like Karens make the profit on us drop? Only if they do something so Karen-y that it would affect the integrity of the species' survival or population. What are your thoughts on the frog girl, lol? She's cute, but more headache than she's worth. How canonically tall are Az and Earl? I mean, they're bio-shifty, so it depends, but Earl is usually a little bit taller than Az, just because he likes to be intimidating. Dr. Volt X Az? Maybe? I mean, like, I'm definitely fan baiting it. I don't know if I'm actually gonna do it. What is your alcohol tolerance? Enough that I'm ashamed of it. What do you think you like the most and least about your asset species, the humans? Least is definitely, like, the dumb things they do, like racism and promote Amy Schumer. But I really like hamburgers and how their butts look. What's with all the different art styles in your show? Is there any actual meaning behind it, or are you just trying to see which art style looks better? The concept behind it is, one, I wanted to make it a big visual sandbox where artists could really feel like they could, bring something to the table and make their own fresh interpretation of the characters. And another is that a 3D person looking at a 4D being would never be able to truly interpret what they are, because their organs, their sight organs, their eyes are not meant to interpret four-dimensional structures. We live in a three-dimensional world, right? So it was kind of a play on that, in that, I mean, if they're four-dimensional, what the fuck do they really look like? How much money, or whatever currency you use, do you get from the human species? I mean, it depends on what they're worth at the time. If the vids on the channel are canon to the series, does that mean the SCP Foundation or any other monster/creature is also canon? So the SCP Foundation is not in any way a part of the series, because of that asshole guy from Russia who sued them, and now I'm scared of it really involving myself in any way with them. But, however, some creatures from folklore and popular culture and stuff will have outsider trading analogs. Frog Girl is not an SCP. Frog Girl is her own kind of thing in the outsider trading universe, but it is an analog to a famous internet cryptid. I'm making commentary and parody on it rather than just directly taking it. Why didn't you stop 9/11? I don't watch you guys every second of every day. I fucking have other things to do. You look away for 20 minutes and then you guys are flying shit into other shit. Alright, it's not my fault. Do you think outsider trading could potentially be on Adult Swim? I think worse shit has gotten further. So, yeah. What is your favorite monster from a TV show or movie? I like the Demogorgon. They're in the walls, you are not safe, run. They are not safe. Eyeball Man. How do you put clothes on? Surely it's hard to pull a shirt over your bulbous head, right? My head's not bulbous. But actually, my clothes, I can just grow them out of my skin. Will you ever do any more Smasher passes? I mean, dude, if the views are there, I'm telling you, I don't make Smasher pass just because I like to make 65 would I fuck it monster videos. I mean, I do, but that's not why I make them. Are you and Volt ever gonna have, quote, fun? You guys already draw it on the internet, so, I mean, look, if you want that, you know where to find it. Does Az jork it? His anatomy is loosey-goosey. Man, be jorking is so gosh dang hard, you don't even know. What was your most and or least favorite thing about working for Early Graves? Pay was good. I like making creatures and ecosystems a lot. The working conditions were shit, and he was mean. What is Amoeba's gender? Do Ouroboros even have genders since they reproduce via mitosis? And are they just femme/masc presenting? So, at rest, they're not gonna have genitals since they won't need it. But, If an Ouroboros knows about the concept of sex and enjoys the presence of another one, they might just grow the bits to have fun with each other. Does Amoeba get a rip from the bong too? He takes all my goddamn weed. Respectfully, what's your deal, weirdo? I don't know, man. It's taken a lot of therapists, a lot of guesses, and I don't think any of them got it right. How does one think in more than 3 dimensions? I know how 4D stuff works, but how would I think in 4 dimensions? I mean, I was just being snarky and giving her a little hint. Is Amoeba a baby, toddler, grown man, or is he just an amoeba? Yeah, I would say that's about accurate. What's your relationship with Graves and Dr. Volt? If you can have fun by yourself by bioshifting a hot woman onto you, does she have independent thought? And what happens to her mind when you will bioshift her back into a part of you? And what inspired you to create insider trading? I guess I could give it independent thought. That seems kind of cruel if the intention is just to reabsorb her. My relationship to them, it honestly seems not too great. What inspired me to create Outsider Trading? I don't know. I had Az and Amoeba the characters for a while, and then I started thinking about like what would be a fun world to put them in. And then from there, I started extrapolating on things that would be fun for the world building, H.P. Lovecraft stuff, and also like real life experiences that I've had. How big is your thingy? And where the fuck did you put it? As big as you need and right in your mom. Is cocaine Amoeba's favorite waffle topping? Yep. My question is, how does changing shape feel? Is it painful, pleasurable, or something else? Like, it's gotta hurt splitting your head open like that. It depends on what you're doing, what you're morphing. It's just like physical touch, right? Someone jorking you off would probably feel pretty good, but like, you got stabbed, it'd probably feel pretty bad. Is your species single-celled organisms? No. How many types of asset species are there? And how many profit management species are there? Are there other types? There are lots and lots and lots of both types. And you have not seen even close to the surface of the iceberg in the pilot. Would you ever consider getting another amoeba? I mean, I didn't really think about getting the first one. I like him, but I don't really plan my actions. Want to burn down an orphanage and then rob an old person? Legally, I have to say no. What did you do in 2006? Why the fuck are you asking about that? Who told you? How did Volt capture you? And do her attempts to capture you again ever annoy you? I kind of let her put me in that box because I have a crush on her. Also, I don't understand humans, and like messing with her helps me. As an amateur anthropologist, speculative anthropology is intriguing, so I'm curious about the basis of species assets and how it came to be. And what happens to civilizations once they know of their predicament? Species assets was just something where I noticed that people really do take advantage of other humans and kind of treat them like commodities in so many different ways. So I thought it was a very fun, like literal take on that blood for money circumstance. What happens to civilizations once they know of their predicament? A number of different things, depending on what they know, how they came to know it, what their situation is. But also I can't really get into specifics because that's, spoilers. What are your next plans for humanity? More crackhead scientists? Bullying tired government agents? Drugs? Yes, that is correct. How much is your net worth? I have no idea. Why did you decide to do YouTube? I always wanted to be an entertainer. I always loved animation and horror and comedy and weird crap, and I thought that this would be a good home for that. Favorite analog horror villain, phenomena, or creature? I like Vita Carnis a lot. I like the Mimic a lot. I like the Trimming a lot. Who do you like the most? Why? Viewer at home, I like you the most because you're watching the video. What is your opinion on interdimensional tax evasion and the French? My opinions are very different about both of those topics. How long does it take you to finish an animation on average? So we have a whole production pipeline. There really isn't an average, but I would say from writing to finishing, if I got the money, 2 or 3 done a month. Is your head a big old eye? Would it hurt if someone poked it? I mean, to be fair, it would hurt if I poked you in the head hard enough. Well, man, do you have a family? Or is it like more of an emotional survival of the fittest type of deal? Also, why didn't you put something more low-key into the human economy so they could easily have glossed it over? Making non-lethal nuclear waste would seem more plausible than whatever you did. Fucking everybody's a critic. I don't know, I didn't think it through so hard. Why don't you try it, smart guy? Yeah, there is family in Ouroboros, but, it is also what you describe in a survival of the fittest type of deal. It's a little bit of a mixed bag. How much would you sell your asset of humans for? Say, a blowjob from an octopus? How good of a blowjob from what kind of octopus? AzFk, what's the record of you smashing yourself? Honestly, probably like 18 times in one day when I was severely injured and couldn't move from bed. I was just ordering fucking hamburgers and da-da-da-da-da-da-da-da. Who is the pipsqueak's other parent? I'm pretty sure it was asexual reproduction, but again, I don't remember. Have you heard of the Muffin Man? Yeah? You never answered my trade request from a video. 3 bottles of beer, 2 swamp women, a kilo of crystal meth, and half a gum stick for human ownership. Do you take my offer, AzFk? No. It's not enough. Come back when you got more. What happened to the frog girl after you left her? I don't know. Not my problem. You ever wonder if Amoeba will end up like you? Appearance-wise, at least. So if you add Amoeba's body tone and his eye tone, he actually combines to my eye color. But what he looks like when he fully matures is going to be a combination of a lot of different factors. Nature, nurture, what I feed him, what he finds on the ground to eat. Do you hate the Union of Soviet Socialist Republics? I don't know. I'm kind of like lukewarm on them. I don't think that they're very good, but I'm not really educated. 1. How many of your kind, that being alien with eyeball, do you think there are? I mean, I don't know. A lot. Last time I checked, it was more than the time before that I checked. Exactly how much did you make off humans? Because you act broke most of the time while still presumably having a lot of money. I'm basically going at this like gambling. I'll make a lot of money and then I'll spend all my money and then I'll go make more decisions to try to make more money. I have to know, tacos or burritos? Depends on the occasion. Am I sitting down? Because I like tacos, but if I'm on the move, maybe a burrito so I got a container. Can I pay you to give me a hug? How much? Could your species be blind? And how do you hear sounds? I guess an Ouroboros could be blind if they really couldn't bioshift and got injured, and the eyeball is actually a compound organ with a lot of different sense organs and other things inside of it. Will you make a bomb? For every government agent listening, no! How many beers can you tank in 1 hour? Too many. Too fucking many. Does it jiggle? Depends on what you mean by it. Can the eyeball man drink from any part of his body by making new holes? Yeah, it's pretty useful. Have you considered removing a character, and who? Not removing, but there are many characters that I have that just didn't fit into the storyline of the Arcs of Outsider Trading, and will be repurposed or added later or put into another series in the same universe, like the one we got coming up. How did I come up with the name AzFk? Partially is my initials are in there, and another part is that the character is very over the top and, AzFk, extra. He's a big personality, so I felt that that was a very good name, especially because he's kind of overly sexual, so AzFk, another meaning. I thought it was a fun name for him. Also, it was my graffiti tag. If you like this video, you should like, comment, and subscribe with all notifications enabled, or I'll kick you. Shout out the inner circle. Love y'all. Okay, bye.